Hey guys, welcome back to Chasing Florida. Today we're going to be doing something a little different. We're going to do an installation of an RCI off-road bed rack. It's an adjustable bed rack, the 58. And after that's finished, we're going to install this ARB touring tent, overland tent on top of it. All of this is going to be installed in a 2010 Ford F-250 with a Roll-N-Lock Tonneau cover. I'll show you what that looks like soon. The racks are fully assembled, both left and right sides. They're not tightened down all the way, but they're loose enough, or tight enough I should say, to that we can actually use them for measuring. Alright, so I got this marked up. I'm using some tape, but I wanted to show you something. I will actually put it over the part of the Roll-N-Lock that I'm going to remove, which are the tracks that slide the Roll-N-Lock. And I've gone ahead and cut it so that once I put it back on each one, I could line them up. I mean, if you have some sort of white marker, that would also work, but I'm using this tape, which is what I have now, and we can line that up that way and make sure that when I put it back together, it all lines up. I've measured that off with the tape on the right side and some more on the left side. I made sure to use the same spacing up front on both sides here by the back of the Roll-N-Lock. That's 3/4 of an inch that allow me to work down in there. And this is where the Tonneau adapters are going to fit. There's 3 of them on each side. I'm going to get in the back of the truck and start removing that. So first step would be to remove these brackets that hold the Roll-N-Lock rails that slide the bed cover or the tonneau over the bed of the truck. I've already done this one so that you can see what that'll look like. I'm going to remove that one right here and show you the rest of those steps, and that removal will allow this entire piece to come off to expose the rail on the bed that we will have to tap to secure the tonneau adapters onto. Alright, so basically removal of this is just this hex screw that's here, and you're going to loosen that up. It has a little bit of Loctite, so just kind of give it a tug back and forth and it will start to loosen up. So right now what I'm doing is just removing a little bit of plastic that the cover's going to sit over. It'll be blocked. So I'm just making some lines and I'm going to go down flat. I would use a scroll saw for this, but I don't really have one handy, so I'm going to use the Sawzall. So what I'm doing is exposing this metal below so that the bracket can recess in here and fit nicely there. I'm not going to tap it with any screws there. I'm just going to leave it, and we're going to tap it from the top of the bed rail. Alright guys, so I'm going to remove this one more time so you can see what I did. Basically just cut out a recess here in the plastic, and now I have the extra space gained up top where I'm going to secure this with a 5/16 lag bolt using some Loctite and some pressure washers, and a small screw that's going to go in here that I'm going to install after the fact. Basically now this just goes under and over, and that allows the function of the Roll-N-Lock with the lag bolt right here, and then the brackets mount here to the rest of the rack. We're going to do this for every single one along the bed. After that we'll mount the rack and start making the adjustments as needed. So what I did was I drilled a pilot hole with a small, I think like a 5/32, and then I started stepping up all the way to a 5/16. This is a 1/4, and after that, step up to the 5/16, and then we're done. That went pretty smoothly. So, if you get a little closer here, I'll show you what I did. Basically, I had to cut this out, and then I had to thread or push this through. It locks in place, and I had to tighten them down and then loosen them in order to create a bit of a compression so that I can fit this top bracket which mounts to the rack. Now what I'm going to be doing is getting the Roll-N-Lock rail itself, channel, and reinserting it and putting it back in place so that we can again proceed to tighten the whole thing down. This is complete. So as you can see, the Roll-N-Lock guides for the tonneau cover, for the rolling tonneau cover, are back in place. And there you see the actual clamps. Make sure that those are secure, clamped all the way down tight. Also, make sure that you fit this all the way to the front properly and that it seats where it's supposed to and that it is not loose. Right now what's left to do is to mount the rack, and we're going to go ahead and do that right now. Check for function before you tighten all this down. As you can see, there it goes, rolls back just fine. So we're good to go. Let's proceed on to the next step. Last step before mounting the rack to begin crossing it is to install the bracket adapter. So under the tonneau L bracket that's supplied that slides under the Roll-N-Lock, you install these guys with the supply bolts and washers. I use a deep socket, and you're going to have to then fasten it using one large bolt that goes into that insert to every single one of them, 6 in total. So the process is almost complete. On to the next one. Side rack is installed. It's hanging over because I haven't tightened them. So by the way, a quick message regarding all the bolts here. Don't tighten them down until you start bracing this over to the other side of the truck, because you will need a little bit of wiggle room. So right now they're loose, that's why you see it sagging down a bit. We're going to tighten it up now. So big mistake here, don't mount both of these side racks at the same time, because when you're sighting in the adjustable bar, you're not going to be able to come over and put this in. So we're going to have to take one down, which at this point is going to be this one, and slide it in. I'm going to go ahead and slide in the other 3 that go across, get them to size, and then slide this guy back in and bolt it down, and then we'll show you exactly step by step how that looks like and what bolts you need to use. So the cross braces are all installed, all 3 of them, and then we install the laterals right here. They go across and basically tie the whole structure down together. Now we're going to adjust these and bolt them down, and the following step after that is just to make sure that it can hold weight properly. So we're going to load test it and finally bolt down the rest of the screws on the bottom. I might do that before I load test it, just in case. I mean, they're tight, but just want to do a second test on it. So let's finish this up and I'll show you what it looks like completed. So we're done. As you can see, we load tested this. Everything is bolted down. At the end, what I decided to do was stagger the bolts. So I have 2 up front, 1 in the back. Same thing up here. I had 2 extra, so I added some extra weight to the back, or extra screws to the back, I should say, to in case I'm up here walking around, since the tent will sit a little forward. I'll give just a little bit of extra added support. And I bolted down the bottom that was loose for fitment, and it is sturdy. I weigh about 200 pounds and has no trouble holding my weight, and my son jumped on it and we're all good. So guys, thank you for watching, and John, what do you got to tell them?
See you in the next video.
See you in the next video. Want to try that?